Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. There are 5 new cases of COVID-19 in Saskatchewan. 2 are in Saskatoon, 1 each in Regina, the Central West and South Central zones. 130 are considered active, with 2 of those in the area. That includes Lloydminster and North Battleford. 8 people are in hospital and there have been 8 more recoveries. Since the 7th annual ATP Kids of Steel Triathlon was cancelled due to COVID-19, 4 Lloydminster athletes decided to give back to our community. Our Shelby Clark has more.
The event was going to be at Bud Miller Park in June this year, but due to the pandemic, the athletes won't be able to participate.
I have lots of chances like this to get activity and see my friends and have the social energy with everybody. It is a bit of a bummer, yes, but other people need these chances too, so that's why we're doing this for kids sports, so they can have chances too.
Lyndon Bender was one of the athletes for the event this year and has participated in the triathlon every year it's been held in Lloydminster.
In my personal opinion, I really love the energy with everybody and the activity on the nice day. It's always a nice day. So I want other people to have energy and joy like that too, and I think that's really important that people get that.
Lyndon, along with other young athletes, wanted to support the community and donate their fees to local charities.
I'm proud to say that we get to give that to other people and give the chance and give the joy that other people, or that I can have to other people.
The Olive Tree and Kids Sport Lloydminster received $3,120 each. Both charities plan to use the donation towards important programs for their organization.
It'll go straight towards our food bank program. So all of our programming is up and running and fully functional, including food distribution to other charities and organizations in the city. So it'll go towards supporting that.
Really exciting to be able to get funds from a local event such as the triathlon. These funds go directly to youth in our community towards registration costs so they can participate in sports. So the connection for both between the triathlon and connecting with kids sport, it's a good mix.
Shelby Clark, Primetime Local News.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
Thanks very much, Jasmine. Take a look right now. 19 degrees right now is our daytime high, but it's more so the wind is the factor. We did have a lot of heavy winds today, and out by Lloydminster Airport right now, it's just shy of 50 kilometers an hour coming from the west side of the city there. But that is pretty impressive nonetheless, but the wind should die down heading into the weekend here. But as we take a look at other temperatures around the area, 19 also in Vermilion, with 20 degrees in Vegreville, 18 in Edmonton, 16 in St. Paul, 11 degrees up in Lac La Biche, as we could be seeing some showers later into tonight. Macklin and Provost, 21 and 22 degrees there, 20 out in North Battleford, with 19 also in St. Walburg and in Maidstone. Now, as we look at Lac La Biche right now at the satellite radar map, there are expecting some showers there, as it could be coming in the coming hours, as well as areas like the Vegreville and Vermilion areas as well. We could see some showers ourselves as well, possibly into the later parts of the week and maybe possibly within the next several days. But as we look at the school day forecast for tomorrow, on our end, it'll be fairly sunny nonetheless there. So 8 a.m. with clear skies at high of 8 degrees there, 12 degrees at recess time around that midday, and then lunchtime at that noon hour, 15 degrees. And then by the time school's out around that 3 o'clock range, we should be at our daytime high there of 19 degrees. So here's a look at what we could see overnight in North Battleford. Clear skies with 8 degrees going into tomorrow, with that high of 20 with mostly sun and a bit of cloud coverage there. As we look into Cold Lake, 7 degrees overnight with 18 degrees tomorrow for their daytime high. And then for us here in Lloydminster, I did mention the wind will start to die down there as we go back to normal kind of wind gusts for the area. So 7 degrees overnight with clear skies, and then 19 degrees tomorrow for the daytime high. Now, as we look at the next 3 days, I did mention rain over the course of the weekend. It could come on Sunday there, but Saturday will be a daytime high of 12 degrees, so a little bit cooler there. And then Sunday we'll have a high of 15 with a 55% chance of some showers coming our way. But that's a first look at your weather forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Harvest has been progressing quickly, with producers in Saskatchewan well ahead of the average pace of the last 5 years. Eric Bay has more on farmers' yields in this week's Ag Report.
After last year's harvest from hell, temperatures have been much more mild and drier this fall, allowing producers to get their crop in the bin around Saskatchewan.
There hasn't really been any specific regions that haven't been making as much progress. It's really been going quite well throughout the province. Some of the province did receive rain this past week, so that has caused some delays for farmers. But there still was quite a bit of progress made before that.
Rain was the biggest problem last year, but so far it has been sporadic in the Lloydminster area, allowing crops to dry before being stored.
And it helps the crop to just dry down and be easy to harvest. So that really has been helpful this year. There hasn't been a lot of kind of rainstorms for the last, I'd say, 4 weeks or so, however long harvest has been kind of going on.
Yields have also been better than expected after heavy rain in the spring raised concerns about drowned crop. August's heat posed some problems, but producers are seeing average yields.
There was some yield loss due to that as well. When it gets really hot out, the crops either ripen too maturely or too quickly, and they don't kind of get their full yield potential. So there was a little bit of loss due to that heat as well.
The next 7 days are expected to be dry in the Lloydminster area, with minimal rain in the forecast. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Now we'll take a look at your egg prices. While the 2020 World Junior A Challenge is cancelled, the CJHL still announced the coaching staff for Team Canada East and West last week. Evan Kenny sat down with one of the assistant coaches in this week's Around the AJHL.
I'm pleased to be joined today by a former AJHL champion, as well as the current head coach of the Sherwood Park Crusaders, Adam Mana. Adam, it's a pleasure getting to talk to you. Adam, I guess first of all, just mentioning that you were an AJHL champion. After being in those winning atmospheres as a player, how do you think it's helped you as a coach try to create those winning atmospheres?
You know, kind of shows you how hard it is to, actually win a championship and to see the hurdles you got to jump through. And, there's nothing like winning a championship, and it's obviously an extremely difficult task to accomplish. So as a coach, you look back at, what worked, what didn't work. And, as a player, or from a player perspective back then, and how you translate it to now. And for us, we were obviously in a position last year where we were really set up to try and make a good push for a title. And unfortunately, COVID got in the way, and it's no secret. But for us, as a coaching staff, we just try and instill and establish some of those championship habits and those culture characteristics that you need in order to win.
Now, Adam, when you took over the head coach position in Sherwood Park, the team was hovering right around that 5-4 kind of range in the North Division. Now, the last 2 years, you have brought the Sherwood Park Crusaders to number 1 in back-to-back seasons. What do you think the biggest change was, taking your teams from that middle of the pack to sort of that elite team in the North?
We know it's cliche, but when Kyle and the organization hired me to come in and take over from Tim Fraggle, who moved on to Nate, we kind of felt that we needed a culture shift, and we needed to really evaluate and look at what we had for personnel, and look at, do we have enough to take that next step to jump from a middle of the pack team to a contending team, whether that's first in the North or top 3, right? So, for us, we really sat down, we looked at it, we evaluated, and we said, first of all, we got to bring in good people. That's number 1. Number 2, we got to bring in good players. Number 3, we got to bring in good kids that are strong in school and that can obtain those scholarships. And then, I guess fourthly or lastly, we needed to bring in guys that wanted to be good hockey players, and maybe not just good hockey players, but great hockey players, and team first guys. And we maybe in the past had good teams on paper, but good teams on paper don't always translate to what you have on the ice. And so for us, we decided to, after that first year, that we came in to kind of shuffle the deck, and we kind of knew what we had, and then we decided to go young, and that's kind of what I was talking about in the last question there. We decided to go a little bit younger. We made a lot of changes, and then we wanted to build what we had going into year, I guess, 3 and 4, and see those results pay off, and that's exactly what happened. So I mean, when all those boxes are checked off and things are clicking, that's how you turn your program around, and it's been a pretty special thing, because Sherwood Park, we broke franchise records in wins, points, finished #1 in Canada last year, so it's been a great ride, but we know we're not close to being done yet, and we're still hungry for a lot more.
And finishing first place in Canada is a feat that not many people get to accomplish. At the start of the year, did you expect this from your team? Did you think it was possible?
Last year, yeah. I mean, it's obviously very tough to obtain that #1 ranking in Canada, but I mean, we knew we had a group that was ready to take that step. I mean, the year before, we thought we were close, but not quite there. I mean, we lost a tough series to Spruce in the North Final, and that's kind of when we took a step back and said, we maybe surprised a lot of people by finishing first in the North this year with the mix that we had, with how young maybe we still were, especially with our core guys and some of our leadership guys. So we felt that this past year was the year where we could really do something special. And like I said, everything kind of seemed to fall into place. Kyle did a great job in terms of bringing players in, whether it was early in the year or at the trade deadline, and that makes mine and Jeff's job a whole lot easier. So.
And finally, Adam, sort of the biggest, most recent news: you were announced as one of the assistant coaches for Team Canada West at the World Junior A Challenge. What does that honor mean to yourself?
Well, it's a tremendous honor. I mean, any time you get to wear or represent Team Canada, I mean, it's a big deal, right? And it's something that I've wanted to pursue. Once I was able to get the head job in Sherwood Park, I didn't want to rush that. In the first couple of years, I wanted to make sure I got my feet under me. I wanted to make sure I was confident in my abilities. Not only going into the interview, but the interview would lead to the potential job offer, and all of that again has worked out nicely. But I couldn't get to where I'm at today without the support of the Sherwood Park Crusaders organization, and just having Kyle push me every day to be better, and Jeff push me to every day to get better. So I mean, it's a collective effort within our organization, and really, I know I'm the guy getting recognized, but it's everybody kind of contributing. And now I'm really looking forward to taking that next step and wanting to get better. And the tournament isn't going this year, but it looked like we had a tremendous coaching staff put together, and I was really looking forward to just learning off all those guys and their backgrounds and where they come from, and obviously they come from really good programs as well.
Adam, thank you very much for joining me. This was Adam Manna, head coach of the Sherwood Park Crusaders.
Now our Connor Chan will have a look at your weather forecast.
Thanks very much, Jasmine. Looking right now, 19 degrees still the main temperature for us here at Lloydminster. Of course, we did see lots of winds throughout the day, and it continues to be that way around areas around the airport. We're still over that 30-kilometer-an-hour gust, though. But as you look over out further west, Edmonton at 18 degrees, 21 in Red Deer with 19 degrees for Rocky Mountain House, and 17 also in Jasper and Edson with 18 in Whitecourt. Over in the Saskatchewan areas right now, a little bit warmer in Saskatoon, sitting at 23 degrees with 20 in both Melfort and in North Battleford. 22 degrees right now for Prince Albert, and then 21 degrees up in Meadow Lake there. As we move up north to look at the northern areas of Alberta and Saskatchewan, we see 14 in La Loche and Buffalo Narrows, and La Ronge we see at 15 degrees, 12 degrees in Flin Flon, and then we get to single digits as we get to areas like Uranium City, Stony Rapids, and Wollaston Lake, sitting at 8 degrees. Now, as we look over in the northern Alberta areas, still kind of fairly similar numbers there. We see 11 degrees in Peace River right now, with 16 for Grand Prairie, and then 12 for Slave Lake, 12 in Fort McMurray, and then 10 for Chippewa, with very warm temperatures there in high levels, sitting at 17 degrees. Now, the southern areas continue to get a little bit warmer as we see Lethbridge going back closer to the 20-degree mark there at 19 degrees. Medicine Hat's just shot over it at 21 right now, with Calgary also sitting at 19 degrees and Coronation sitting at 21 as well. We see Banff also sitting a little bit cooler than most areas in the southern areas, but sitting at 12 right now. Looking at the southern Saskatchewan side, 21 in Swift Current with 23 for Moose Jaw, and 22 also out in Kindersley with 24 in Regina. Very warm out in Estevan, sitting at 29 degrees, with Yorkton sitting also at 22. Now here's a look at what we see across the rest of the country. Mostly cloud coverage for the most part. A little bit of wind as well in some of those areas as well. Winnipeg sitting at 22 degrees right now. Quebec City at 17 with some sunshine and a bit of cloud coverage there. Toronto at 23 right now. Getting darker out in St. John, sitting at 16 with some cloud coverage, and 19 degrees right now in Halifax. As we move over out west a little bit, Edmonton also seeing some cloud coverage there. There could be some showers in the Edmonton area coming within the next couple of hours or so, as we did see in the satellite radar map that Lac La Biche could be getting some showers in the coming evening. And then 17 degrees we see out in Vancouver, and then up in the Northwest Territories there, Yellowknife and Whitehorse sitting at 10 degrees for both cities. Now, as we look over for tomorrow, we'll see 19 degrees being the daytime high there for most of the area, including Vermilion, Marwayne, Vegreville as well. 20 in both Wainwright, Provost, and Macklin for tomorrow. And then we look into North Battleford, also seeing at 20 degrees for tomorrow. Now, as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, we are going to get some rain ourselves starting on Sunday there, but 12 degrees for Saturday as we get into the weekend. 15 degrees for the daytime high on Sunday, 18 on Monday, with 15 on Tuesday, and then we get a little bit cooler on Wednesday, sitting at 11 degrees, and then 18 on Thursday. It'll be a warm day, but it'll be a fairly cool morning, sitting at 1 degree. That's a look at your 7-day forecast right now. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Well, joining us here today on Primetime Local News is Lakeland President and CEO, Dr. Alice Wainwright Stewart. Now, Dr. Wainwright Stewart, I know the Lakeland College was recently given a funding along with 8 other colleges in Saskatchewan. So just talk about the funding that you received from the government.
Well, we've had this funding for years. And really what they're doing is, because it's a new program, and this is the convoluted part of it, Connor. So I think rather than, it's not new money, we've had this money for 20 plus years. But because there's a new there's a new department, they've just shifted the money over there. And so for that department, they are supporting all these institutions with this money that was just kind of, so everybody's had this money for years.
So is the money going to be allocated to one program over the other, or is it more of a sense of everyone's going to get a fair share of this funding?
So what this type of skills training, so if you think about what COVID is, so what is after COVID? Well, we know that we've had a recession. We know that we need to have some economic recovery. Well, here's an opportunity. Come back, get some new skills, and go out in maybe possibly a new career that will help you get to where you want to go. So come back, get your upskilling. Maybe you've been in the oil patch and you see that you have some amazing experience with some of the groundwork, and you want to come back and get some managerial experience in skills in that particular area. Or you might have, maybe you're somebody who's been in the oil patch, never really finished your high school. Here's an opportunity to come back, get some of that adult basic education, finish your high school diploma so they can move on to some of the, maybe a career of your choice.
What's sort of the future outlook going forward with this funding and its impact it could have on future students coming to Lakeland College?
Right now, the money is divided up between adult basic education training. So you can come in and up your skills in your basic high school education. That gives you some basic skills. Then we have essential skills programming. So that's some areas where you may come in and target. You might want to do some introduction to WL, and you want to move into that area. So we have some of that money's funneled to that. We also have some money funded to that business admin if you want to move into that area. We, as I said, we had money funneled to hairstyling and esthetician, as well as the heavy oil technician operator. That's another area that we've looked at. And then, of course, the power engineering. Now with those are areas where we've used money to help our current students look at upskilling and reskilling in those areas.
And lastly, Dr. Wainwright Stewart, is there anything else that you'd like to add on top of that?
I would say that I would like again to thank the government of Saskatchewan for supporting learners. It's really, really important that learners have this opportunity. And I would also say that anyone that's interested in what we have to offer in the future, that make sure that you come and join us at our open house. That's going to be a virtual open house October 23rd and 24th.
Well, Dr. Wainwright Stewart, I really appreciate your time and thank you very much for joining us today.
I'm joined here with Patrick Lancaster, and he's the manager of social programs and services in the city of Lloydminster. Now, Family and Community Support Services is offering web sessions with David Irvine. So what are these sessions about?
So the sessions will be, we've got two different sessions planned for the day. The first session is is for seniors as part of National Seniors Day. And normally we do a brunch event where it's kind of the seniors gather and we usually have a speaker come in and present to them. This year things are a little bit different and we want to do things safely and responsibly. So we brought in we're bringing in a virtual speaker, much like what we did earlier in the year with Gary Naka, who came in and spoke to some senior wellness strategies earlier in the year. So we decided to go with David Irvine, who's been to Lloydminster before to present to different organizations. And he really brings a sort of a genuine, high energy speaking style, which we're very, very fond of. I think what will happen is the seniors that attend the event will really be energized and inspired to go out and be active and I know I get excited just thinking about it because he's such a dynamic and energizing speaker.
And could you just go into a bit more detail on what the main topics that will be discussed will be?
Certainly. So David's going to talk a little bit about resiliency and some of the ways that individuals can be more active in the community and in the ways that this benefits them as far as being more resilient mentally and physically going forward. Because we all want to have the best life that we can. We all want to age and have resiliency to some of the challenges that can come with that. And so David's going to speak a little bit about what are sort of things you can do to fortify yourself and sort of be your best self. And so that's the morning session.
And throughout the years and over the past months, why did FCSS want to offer these sessions in general?
We're always excited about opportunities to bring in speakers and educators and ideas because FCSS really is about prevention. And our philosophy is that if we can prevent crisis by building the skills and the tools and the connections within individuals so they're better prepared and better able to cope with their circumstances, That's better for the individual, that creates more independence. And that's also better for the community, it relieves stress on different types of supports. And overall, prevention is kind of the fundamental philosophy of FCSA, for family and community support services.
And now these sessions are online because of COVID-19. So will these be available afterwards?
Yes. So both sessions, the morning and the afternoon, we will be recording them and then posting them on the city's YouTube channel. So if you miss the session, you can still take it in, or if you attended the session and you want to watch it again, the opportunity will be there to see them on the city YouTube channel for up to a week after the event.
And for somebody who doesn't know, when is the event and how can they register?
So the first session, the Resilient Aging, is October 1st, 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. And then in the afternoon, we have a different session. And it's actually a different audience that we're shooting for in the afternoon session. It's Leading Through Disruption. And again, it's October 1st, 2 until 3. The afternoon session is actually targeted more towards people who are involved in the helping professions, executive directors, leaders, and it takes a bit of a different spin. That one is really focused on navigating through chaos and uncertainty, and how to, as leaders, people can build strategies and coping mechanisms to deal with disruption. And I think that's something that a lot of us are experiencing right now. And I feel like David will provide some excellent insights in how to deal with that.
And whoever is looking to register can go to the city's website?
Yep, the link is up at lloydminster.ca/FCSS events. And there's 2 separate sessions on there. There's no cost to register. We do recommend registering, even if you intend to just watch the video afterwards. That way you can get the notifications and you don't miss out on the opportunity. You'd hate to want to attend, forget about it, and then the window is eventually gone once the videos come down.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Patrick.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast here. 19 degrees for Friday as we get into the weekend there. 12 degrees on Saturday as we cool off just a little bit more there. We could see some showers heading into Sunday with that high of 15 and a 55% chance of some rain there. 18 degrees on Monday with some cloud coverage continuing on there, as well as 15 degrees into Tuesday as well with some cloud coverage there. 11 degrees as we get into Wednesday midweek there. And then we should get a little bit warmer on Thursday with that high of 18 degrees. We average around 15 for the highs and then averaging around 3 for our daytime lows, and usually around this. And today the big storyline was the fact that we had winds over 40 kilometers an hour. It will die down into the evening. We could have some gusts over 20 though, but heading into tomorrow we could have a normal wind gust probably around that 15 to 20 kilometer range.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Primetime Local News. Have a great night.